What's up, everybody? It's Matt from 9 Day Performance, and we're working on this beautiful 2015 SRT Charger behind me with a 6.4 liter Hemi, and it's come in because it has an issue with misfire. Cylinder 6 is misfiring, and we're not sure why. We've already swapped coils. We've already tested the coils. We've already swapped plugs. We've already swapped the injector. We've already pulled the valve cover off, and we don't see anything with the valve springs as far as the movement. That could be a clear sign. So only thing left to do is to tear it apart and see what's going on with cylinder 6. So we're going to be pulling the passenger side head off, which entails taking the intake and the head off. We're going to bring you guys along for the build as we uncover what's going on with this charger. Hopefully it's something small. If not, it's going to end up needing a cam and lifters. But we'll get right into that and catch you guys in a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the verdict is in. We have found the problem with cylinder number 6. So as we come around here, as you can see, this is the engine torn apart. The header was disconnected. The head is taken off, which is what you are required to do in order to get to the lifters. The lifters are right here on the top portion of the engine block. And what those do is those rotate on the camshaft. When you hear people talking Hemi tick, you're hearing the Hemi tapping that gets really, really loud. That's your first indication. This car had no noise. That's the crazy part about it. The car didn't have noise. It was just misfiring on cylinder 6. And like I said earlier, we tested our normal ways. The computer wasn't picking up anything specific. So we manually tested it, checked the injector. Injector was good. Checked the plugs, the coils, swapped them around. Everything was good. So we only have one choice but to tear the head off and hope that we can find the problem down in there, which we did. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what we have found. So these are cylinder 6's lifters. So if you can see there, the very top, hopefully this focuses, this one is the bad one. So you can see how bad it looks and how eaten up this top portion is right here. Very, very badly eaten up. And then I'll show you one of the lifters that's good. I'll pull it out of a different cylinder. So I'll go back one cylinder. The cylinder's 8. So here we have a bad lifter next to a good lifter. I'll wipe them off for context so you can actually see. without the oil being in the way. So here you see a good lifter. This is out of the same motor. Bad lifter. Roller bearings are gone. I'm not sure if the camera can pick this up, but that loud noise, this movement, and then if you take the lifter and shake it, you can hear it's just shaking around in there. So this is one of the MDS lifters that has failed. So we went ahead and ran over to FRP earlier, and we got a MDS delete kit because it doesn't want to do a performance cam on this car. It's just his daily driver, which is fine. We do general repair also. So we did the MDS delete kit just because they're around the same price if you put the MDS lifters and all back in, but with less problems. So now we don't have to worry about the issues with that. So we're going to go ahead and get the rest of these lifters taken out, get the other cylinder head taken off, airbox taken off, front timing cover taken off, walk you through as I'm doing some of these items so I can show you what I'm doing. And then we're going to go ahead and get the camshaft swapped. I'm going to try to swap the cam without pulling the bumper or anything off, just for speed. I'm always trying to do things a little faster. Normally I drop the engine or I'll pull the heads and then I'll pull the bumper off and pull it out the front. But for this one, let's see if I can do it without taking the bumper off. We might end up taking it off anyways, but I know on the LS stuff we can do that. On the Hemis, I've never really honestly tried to do the cam without taking the bumper off, so we'll see. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get this engine tore apart.
Feel like Kobe, I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me, I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. You're on step like Ginobili, from young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats.
Alright, so now that I got the valve cover off on this other side, before I get it torn apart, I want to give you guys a little bit of a description of the parts for the guys or girls or whoever's watching that might not know what we're doing. Some people are just watching the videos. They enjoy seeing engines torn apart, but there are some people that are genuinely curious as to what the components do and what are these failures we're talking about. What is a lifter? Things of that sort. So here we have the valve train of the engine. This is of a Hemi. All cars are different. Pushrod motors are going to be similar to this. LS is going to be a little bit different though. So these are all your intake valves. These are all your exhaust valves. These are your intake springs, exhaust springs. These are rocker shafts here. These are push rods on the rocker shafts that are in between for the exhaust or the intake. So what happens down here in the motor are the lifters. As the lifters come up, they push the push rod. So say, we'll take this one for instance. There's a push rod right here. So when the lifter comes up, it's going to push this push rod and it's going to take this spring on the opposite side and it's going to push that valve down. Now, once that lifter goes around the cam lobe and it's time to close, this push rod will then go back down. When it goes down, this will close, and the force of this spring is what will close the valve and keep it closed. So that's part of the combustion process. So the issue is when we have a lifter that's failed, it cannot necessarily go over the cam lobes to lift, to open the valves. So you might have a valve that's staying closed, or it's closing too soon, or so it's not getting enough air in, or the exhaust is closing too soon. It's not letting enough of the exhaust fumes out. You know, there's different things that can be happening. That's what causes your misfires. Anything in the cycle that's disrupted and different from the rest of the cylinders is going to be considered a misfire, and it's going to throw it on the computer that something's not working right on that cylinder. So like I said, on the opposite side here on cylinder 6, we went ahead and had an issue with that lifter, so we took it out. But we're not going to just replace that lifter, because normally 9 times out of 10, if you have one lifter that's having a problem, you're going to have more having a problem very shortly. So normally we replace all the lifters, and when they're that bad, 9 times out of 10, the cam is destroyed too. So we went ahead and checked the cam on this one with the borescope. There is a groove in it. I can't see it in depth until we pull the cam out, but there is a groove on it, which means it does have to be replaced. So on these, how do we determine if the engine has to be replaced or not? Because a lot of people are saying there's metal throughout the engine. To an extent, there are. We have things like oil filters and all that catch that. The pickup tube catches it. But the determining factor on if you need to rebuild the entire engine is this component that's called a VVT solenoid or the oil control solenoid, either one you want to call it. So this goes right here in the front of the motor. So this controls the variable valve timing. Now, there are little screens on this. Per the Mopar spec, by the manual, when you pull these out, if you have a cam and lifter failure, you pull this solenoid out. If you see metal on this solenoid on the screens, it means you have to replace the motor. Or you can rebuild it if you know what you're doing. A lot of people say, oh, if there's metal throughout the motor, you'll never get it clean. Well, they obviously don't know what they're talking about, because in the machining process of an engine, metal gets sent all throughout the motor. Whenever you're honing them, whenever you're boring them out, whenever you're line honing the mains, when you're doing all these things, there's metal being sent throughout it. You just have to tear it all the way apart, clean everything out to make sure there's no metal in the engine still. So it can be cleaned. So people that say if you have metal in your engine, it's trash, they just are too lazy to rebuild it or don't know how to rebuild it. But that's the issue with this one. Nothing necessarily is wrong with the driver's side. Over here, the fan might be a little loud. Sorry if it's hitting the mic, but you see here the lifters from cylinder 8 here, nice and shiny. And this is cylinder 6, tore up lifter, and this lifter is starting to delaminate too. Then we go back, another cylinder 4 and 2. Those lifters don't look that bad. The rollers aren't that bad. They do have some delamination on them. However, it's nothing to be of concern. So we're just going to go ahead and get this other head taken off now. And once we get the head taken off, we'll go underneath. We'll disconnect the alternator. We'll drop the AC compressor so we can pull front cover off. I'm going to have to get the crank off as well. The crank pulley, I'm sorry, not the crank. Harmonic balancer, whatever you want to call it. And then whenever I was recording earlier, I'm not sure if the camera caught it, but when I took the skid plate off the bottom, I had a surprise that happens a lot to a lot of the Hemi cars. And I'll show you. So right underneath here, you see this underneath your car. Some people see this and say, oh, I know exactly where that comes from. Some people have no clue. If you look in the bottom of your engine, when you're in your engine bay, and you look down there, this piece here goes down on your harmonic balancer at the very bottom, or your crank pulley for some. This is a weight that helps balance it. So whenever these go bad, the rubber seals go bad, this piece here is going to drop out. It almost hit me in the head earlier because I didn't know it was there. But that's what you saw. If you saw that in the video, I'm not sure if you picked it up, and it was a hyperlapse. But we're going to jump back into getting this other head tore off. To do so, we're going to take 10 mils off all the way across the valve train, push rods out, take the belt off of here because we do have this idler here that's holding the belt. We're going to take the belt off. The exhaust has already been disconnected down at the back, which is taken off with a 16, as well as the special E-bit, or no, not E-bit, a star bit. Then we're going to get the MDS solenoids taken out, new cam put in, XYZ. Start to finish, we're going to show you. You're going to be along with me for the ride. Sit back and listen to some music. Let you watch me along the process. Leave in the comments if you've had an issue with this, have you fixed it, if you want to know how to fix it, if you have any questions, shoot me a message. I'm not opposed to helping other people learn how to work on their own cars as well. But anyways, I'm going to stop yapping. I'm going to jump back into this week, get this tore apart. All right, everybody. So if you followed up to this point, you saw we got the cam taken out of this beautiful Dodge Charger that's behind me that we're working on. And now we're going to go to the determination of exactly what happened other than the lifters. Did the cam get destroyed? And the answer is yes. So if you look here, we had a cylinder 6 misfire. And cylinder 6 is right there aligned with that lobe. It has wiped that lobe. So that is an issue we've had. That is indeed an MDS cylinder. So did the MDS system cause it necessarily? Yes. The answer is yes. A lot of people are questioning why whenever you have MDS failures, it's not always on MDS cylinders. It's because the MDS system itself is what also kind of hurts the engine. So a lot of people think, oh, I can just turn MDS off of my tune or whatnot and not do the physical delete and I'm going to resolve my issue. The answer to that is you are wrong. That is not going to fix your issue because the MDS solenoids still block the oil galleys and still block some of the flow of oil getting down to your lifters. So no matter what, it's going to run into those solenoids. You need to get those solenoids out. And once you get the solenoids out, you also need to put a cam in it that's not the same MDS cam. Those cams are actually weaker as well. The factory cams had issues and they tend to wipe lobes. Sometimes it's not even because of lifter failure. Sometimes they delaminate and the material just is so brittle that it'll just fall apart. But anyways, we got the cam out. Lifters are out. MDS solenoids are out. We're going to put our block off plugs in it. We're going to get our new cam, which is behind me, sitting right here from FRP. It is the OE spec cam for the MDS delete, which comes with head gaskets. Kara at FRP gave me beautiful receipt paper that's not supposed to be there, but comes with your gaskets, comes with your Mopar lifters, as you can see there, still sealed in the box. Set of Felpro head bolts, all of our timing cover and water pump gaskets, as well as down there you'll see our bolts. So the kits come complete with everything you need to do an MDS delete on these vehicles. So now we're going to get the cam installed, start getting the lifters installed, head gaskets on, working on getting the front end together, getting the heads put back on this vehicle so we can get it back to our customer and get it back running the way it's supposed to be. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab this cam, lubricate it up, and go ahead and slide it in. And as you can see, we were successful. We did not have to take the bumper off. So the bumper can stay on. And we got the pulley off and everything without taking the bumper off, without removing the engine, just like the Chevys. All we had to do is remove the radiator. Radiator and fans out. And as you can see here, there's enough room within there to slide the cam out and then put a new cam in. So you don't have to take your bumper off. So that's something that'll speed up our processes a little bit as well. Let's go ahead and get into getting this cam put in this Charger. Ladies and gentlemen, we've done it again. As you guys saw, we rebuilt the top end of the motor in this beautiful Dodge Charger 392 behind me. Cylinder 6 was the culprit. I'll go show you guys really quick what happened and why it was misfiring. So multiple shops had tried different things, coil packs, injectors, spark plugs. We tested the same things. All those were fine. I'm not going to charge it for that again. After spending thousands of dollars trying to get this Dodge Charger on the road and figure out what's wrong with it, he finally came to the right people here at Night and Day Performance. We always take care of everybody else's mistakes here in Houston and all the shops that don't understand how to diagnose the Hemis correctly. So right here, you'll see there's a camshaft. And if you see right there, cylinder 6 has left the chat. That's the problem. We had lifter failure / cam failure. So we have that, and then we have one of the lifters down here, if I can find it. Whatever, you can see the other side of that cam to know that the lifter's destroyed too. Basically all the needle bearings are gone, the lifter's destroyed, and now this Dodge Charger is back purring like it should. I'm gonna bring you inside. We're gonna fire it up. Nice and quiet. The only lights on the dash now are my seatbelt, and there ain't no gas in it. That's what's wrong with it. Now it ain't got no gas in it. But we'll walk around. It's not misfiring at all. It's running very smoothly. We'll go into the engine bay. So we did the FRP MDS delete kit, which comes with all OEM lifters as far as OEM non-MDS lifters and non-MDS cam. And we went ahead and got the tune done on it. And as of course, you have your Hemis that normally have their normal Hemi tick, which this quiet down a little bit over time. This is a fresh fire up with brand new lifters. Everything's still breaking in, but it's not tapping anymore. It's not shaking. The car is smooth. Now we're gonna go out and test drive it, make sure everything is good with it, so we can go ahead and give it back to the customer, Nick. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stop going to other shops in Houston. Bring your rides to Night and Day Performance, and we'll get you taken care of as fast as we can, even though we're booked up all the time. Make sure you give us a shout, www.nightandayperformance.com. If you're not in the area, we will transport your car here and give you a discount on transports. By the way, every build that comes in the shop that gets an engine done or any engine work done gets 12 months of free oil changes. So if you want to figure out the details on that, go ahead and give us a shout. Catch you guys on the next one.